coming out today. This is a rally for non-intervention. My name is Greg Bishop. I'm a local media activist, and I consider myself a citizen lobbyist. Now, here we are 7 years after the beginning of the Iraq War. We were told that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. We were even told that Saddam Hussein was responsible for the anthrax attacks back in October of 2001. That turned out to not be true either. And when people talk to me about my stance on non-interventionism, they say, well, Greg, there's other things to be concerned about. The mounting deficit, national security. But I think it really does start with our foreign policy.
As a scientist, I like to talk about data and facts and numbers. And we're mortgaging our future morally and fiscally. And it's that fiscal mortgaging of our future that gets me extremely agitated. The moral bankruptcy is certainly extremely troubling as well. But I like to deal with the numbers, and I was driving down here today, just my blood boiling, thinking of the cost of an interventionist policy. We reap what we sow, and then we pass it on to the next generation, and it's expensive and it's unaffordable. We figure going to State Department websites, which is the best data you can find, we're fighting supposedly 200 to 2,000 people out there at a cost of $200 billion a year. And you know, that works out to about $200 million to $1 billion per terrorist. And that's, if you're a business person, they always talk about return on investment. Boy, where's our return on investment for that? It's insane, and it's unaffordable, and it's not the way we should be doing business morally or financially.
We all are focused on the idea of, we believe it's time to drop this duopoly. You know, and let me say something about that real quick. You know, in America, we believe in options, we believe in variety, we demand it. In fact, we demand it so much we have antitrust laws that says you can't have a monopoly. We demand options and variety in every aspect of our American lives, except for one place. And somehow we think a duopoly is a good idea. Well, it's time to change the American mind. It's time to change that paradigm. It's time to increase, we believe in free market, right? In every place but politics, the ballot box. It's time we get variety and options. Yeah, I don't agree with these guys on straight across the board on the issues, but I absolutely believe in the opportunity to be there to provide voters with an opportunity to choose who they want to vote for, not have somebody shoved down your throat. In fact, I spent 22 and a half years in the United States Marine Corps defending that right. And more importantly, for 22 and a half years, I made an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I got back to the state of Illinois and saw what both the Republicans and Democrats have done to our state and to our country, all the battles we've ever fought, all the enemies we've ever faced in this world, none are more vile and evil than our domestic enemies. It's because of a lack of following the Constitution that we are in the economical and other problematic areas that we are facing today. A lack of following the Constitution. Not because the Constitution doesn't work, it's because we're not working the Constitution. Our founding fathers, in fact, we heard reference to George Washington. Actually, Jefferson is the one who said, peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations, entangling alliances with none. He was our third president. He was the one who, obviously you all know, wrote the Declaration of Independence. He had a real good idea. He was over in France. He was in the other parts of the country trying to raise money and support for the United States. But in the process of doing that, He said, entangling alliances with none. Our very first president, and I'll read just a couple of sentences here. In the execution of such a plan, nothing is more essential than that permanent, inveterate antipathies against particular nations and passionate attachments for others should be excluded. And that in place of them, just and amicable feelings toward all should be cultivated. The nation which indulges towards another an habitual hatred or an habitual fondness, get this, is in some degrees a slave. Folks, our current government has enslaved us. You heard about the Iraq. You know, we went to war because of weapons of mass destruction. They weren't there, so now we're in war with Iraq because we're trying to give them a democracy. Something that we don't even have. We are a republic, not a democracy. And yet we're trying to spread democracy throughout the world. We have one of the most atrocious foreign policies ever. Saddam Hussein, many of you may or may not realize, came to the United States in '78. The city of Detroit, Michigan, handed the keys to the city over to Saddam Hussein. The United States knew who Saddam Hussein was, put him in the position of power because we knew he was evil and could take it over. We put him there, and then what do we say? We have to topple the evil dictator. And we put him there. The United States has entangled themselves across the nation. We are nation building, and nowhere in our Constitution does it give the United States the authority to do that. The only thing it gives it the authority to do is to protect the United States. Why do we have an unconstitutional standing army for 70 years? Because they can. They have the money. And they've been funding this army to traipse it around the world. Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Afghanistan, Iraq. Undeclared wars in which we say we are at war. Folks, we've not had a declaration of war since World War II. And according to the Constitution, 2 years is it. In fact, here's the misnomer. A lot of people say we've got the troops overseas. And because we have them overseas, it's our responsibility to fund them. Make sure they're well funded, right? No! The Constitution says we take back the money, you bring back the troops! That's how you undeclare war, folks. You take away the money. The president's responsibility is to bring back the troops. That's how you bring them back, and that's what the responsibility according to our Constitution says. Not only are we not authorized to be around the world doing the things we are doing, but constitutionally, we have had an unconstitutional standing army. Why do we have these entangling alliances? Because we have a government that has had a militia, an army, that they can do it and go all around the world to do it. We must take back our government. We must do it constitutionally. And if we start carrying our constitutions and shove it in the face of every single one of our representatives, our senators, then we can start taking back this state and these United States.
Question and I want to answer. Tell me, who would